BookTube. I just heard the dog barking outside. Furnace is running in there. This is going to be a strange video. Might be a little dark. And this is a story about someone called I. Now, at some point, I'm probably going to screw up the pronoun usage in this because of this character's name, I. But this will be a fictional account. And let me give you a little backstory of how this came about. 6 or 7 months ago, ever how long it's been since I've been on BookTube, Ben Sanders posted a video, and it was how to write a realistic fight scene. And I commented, you know, I don't have to worry about that because, you know, I've been in a few. You know, quite a few actually. So I'm sure Ben was thinking, you know, who's this guy? Because I probably had 20 subs at the time. Actually, I'm not sure. Ben's a great guy, so I'm sure he was kind with his reply. But I got to thinking about how obviously real life experiences, if you're a writer, plays into dialogue, scenes, subject matter, just different things. Excuse me. Now, my family, my wife's family, you know, we're from this part of the world. So, we're kind of used to certain things. First of all, let me explain this. My oldest son, he spent close to a year pretty much just being a homeless drifter because that was something he wanted to check into. And he was never homeless because the kids always know they have a home here. The second oldest one, he was a security guard at a hospital, and he worked ER and he worked the psych ward, so obviously he's seen some things. And our youngest boy, he's an EMT, and you know, he drives the ambulance, works on patients, and you know, pretty much tries to save lives every day. So when we all get together, we discuss, you know, we don't get together very often, but when we talk over beer, we talk about, you know, different life experiences and things that we've seen and done. This story takes place in Kentucky, and the relevance of that is, well, it'll be a little more pertinent or important later on, because we have something here called the castle rule, and this law states, I don't know it verbatim, if someone comes into your house, breaks in, or even into your vehicle, you know, a couple years ago, a guy leaned into a guy's vehicle and was beating on him. The guy shot him. They're like, well, you can't do that, you know. The guy walked scot-free. So that's why we don't have a lot of break-ins in this part of the world, is because pretty much everyone's armed, you know, and everybody knows that, so it's just a rare occurrence. So let me start this story out by saying that I spent, you know, now this is the character, I, not me. I spent a few days in county lockup, and there were 8 people in the cell, and one of them had been involved in a homicide. And you know, when you're in a cell 24 hours with people and you play cards and you talk and everybody, well, what are you in for? What are you in for? You, obviously you're going to learn some things about it. So I was privy to some information that didn't mean much then, but it came in handy later. So, years later, I came to find out that there was a convicted murderer who had done his time, got back out, and he was hanging around two people that I cared a great deal for. And what this person had done is he had killed somebody with a knife. Now, unless you've seen, I mean, obviously death's a bad thing, but I came into work one Monday. I'm not going to say where I was working at. I had to go clean up a murder scene, and the guy had been killed with a knife. And it was around the holidays. I didn't realize that the human body held that much blood. There was blood spatters on Christmas cards, and it was just a really, really bad scene. So, I had that image in my head, and I was like, need to get that guy away from these people I care about. So I sent a message through the grapevine. And obviously, if you want a message to get to someone, talk to the right people, word gets back, problem solved, right? Well, not really. Depends on the person. So, this person, we'll call him S, sends I a note, a letter, and it basically stated, what I do is none of your business, and it would be in your best interest to stay out of my business. And if you don't, you're going to be done in. The dumbass was so stupid he signed it with his initial. So I was like, well, that's not going to work, so I'm going to have to do something this guy understands. So he thought about it for a while, and he came to the conclusion that there were three important things. One, obviously didn't want the guy getting a hold of a knife. Two, catch him unawares. Three, criminals don't normally call the authorities if there's a problem. So I picked his spot in the right time, and he rolled up to this house. It's really late at night. Knocked on the door. Who is it? You have to know these people's friends. Oh, it's Bob, I'm out of gas, or whatever. Main thing is getting them to open the door. So, guy opens the door. He's probably a little bit shocked. But, that was it. So what happened, and I went to work. And the boss was like, hey, we need to go for a ride. So they went for a ride, and he's like, did you hear about what happened to so-and-so? I was like, yeah, I heard about that. He's like, was that you? I was like, nope. It wasn't me. Anyway, the story ends. The guy wound up killing someone else. The S character. And he buried him in a yard, and he got sent off to the big house. So that's that's the story about some of the adventures of I. Like I said, it's a little bit dark. But anyway, life is good. Make the most of it. Drink one for me. Bye.